Hello, Chris George here again with ET Books. Today we're discussing homeschooling books. Yes, that's right. And they don't have to just be for homeschool. Did you know that? They can be supplemental materials for your child who is in school, especially if they love to learn. For example, and I mean love to learn by nonfiction like my child does. There are great things, a great many variety of things to learn about and to love about. I mean, maybe they enjoy art. You could supplement with this, or it could be part of your homeschool curriculum. Maybe they love science. Maybe this book is a few years old. We don't need it currently, but my child wanted to keep it and make sure that he knows everything that a third grader should know. Coding is a great supplemental lesson for children. They're already on the computer. They're kind of learning it anyway. You could totally fill in the gaps with this one. This happens to be fiction literature that is part of our homeschool curriculum, and I'll review all of these. I've already done Story of the World. I don't think I've done this book. My child loves this book. We got this just because he wanted to know how everything works. And as it turned out, it's a good thing that we own it because it's part of our homeschool curriculum this year. And so is this, which I have because I love that publisher, what they put out. Today, however, we're not discussing any of those. Today, we're actually going to be discussing BYL, also known as Build Your Library. And this is for level 4. And I'm not sure how high the levels go. I don't know if she goes to level 12 or not yet. But this is written by Emily Cook, and you can find her online. I actually purchased this as a PDF, and because I like to handle things, which you know that about me by now if you've watched any number of my videos, or a handful of them. I like things in print, so I printed it, and it wasn't very much to print. I think it was $30, so about the cost that of a good book, right? A good size book like this one, which is actually might be more than that. And I had it bound. So for bound and printing, it was around $30. And then I put all these tabs in myself so that I could keep track. This is set up by weeks. So the first week you start school is week 1, and so forth. So I put this in because it's not just a day-by-day thing. And this, Emily Cook does really well. First of all, she lays out the book list of ideas that she has coordinated with the activities for the week. And then she has it broken down day by day. So all my tabs here are so I know which week I'm on. And then there will be, again, a lesson for each day of the week. Now, how you schedule your homeschooling is up to you. You could do lessons or supplemental things on Saturdays and skip Wednesdays, or have field trips on Fridays. So it's not dated, it's just listed out in weekly form. It's up to you on what days of the week you want to use. And she has her book list, and then she has optional documentaries if you want supplemental materials. Now, I found my library carries some of those supplemental materials. I have also found a few things. We use Roku and Netflix, and we did have Hulu for this long. I just wanted to try it out, and I don't think it was working for us. But you can find optional documentaries for free, and especially if you're paying for cable and you have HBO or something. And of course, you can always look for the optional documentaries to buy online at Amazon, or you can buy them Amazon Prime. If you have that on your television, you can do that. I've heard that Fandango also has a place you can rent your movies if you want to rent them. And she does give links, as you can see, right to Amazon, which is nice. If you want to buy the things, just click on it. You don't have to go through a bunch of research and to find it, especially because it's especially good because she's referring to specific things. So you might find the Charge of the Light Brigade, for example, in a search, and maybe it's not the same version as what she has listed, which may or may not differ just a bit when the child does the lesson. Again, this is level 4, so about 4th grade, give or take. You need to see where your child's at. My child probably was, 5th would have been more challenging for him, but we've had a lot of changes and we just decided to go with 4, make sure we don't miss anything. We also had a lot of the books that are being used for level 4 already. We had The Story of the World, and we had used level 1 of this a few years ago, so it made sense to me to continue with that. We also already had the Esborn book. Coding is not part of our program. We just have that. We also have this, which turns out to be part of the level 4 program. So it really helped that I had some of the books. And the rest, I did order some spines, and spines are the ones that you really need to have your hands on for more than just a week or two, because it's used consistently throughout the book. Like Story of the World, we use this 3 times a week, if not more. So spines like that, I went ahead and bought, and then for the most part, if I didn't buy them used or find them used, then I went through my library. And remember to ask your librarian or whoever your contact person is at the library about interlibrary loan, because just because you don't find it on the shelves and the stacks does not mean that a sister library can't get their hands on it for you. So keep in mind when you're looking for materials, they can find stuff for you. I've had materials sent to me from as far away as Ohio, and I'm in Missouri, so who would have thought, right? You can get your hands on a lot of things. You just have to ask the right questions, and that is interlibrary loan. Make sure you ask about that. So the BYL book, she has copywork, and this is level 4. It'll be a little bit different for the higher levels, okay? She has poetry memorization, which we did that a few years ago, so this is kind of par for the course with my child. A few years ago we used First Language Lessons by Susan Wise Bauer, which was amazing, so this kind of went along with that, with the memorization. BYL, level 4, sorry, poked myself, also has timelines in it. So you get maps. The child gets the map work, and you can create a timeline. Some people like to do it on the wall, create a timeline. That could get very long. Of course, right now for history, we're just going up through the modern age, and it starts with Victoria's Empire. So it's not like you're doing all of it once. What I found out was to get a 3-ring binder, and she has images for this, so you can cut out and copy and paste your images into your, what we call in the homeschool world, I found out, Book of Centuries. And then it's just a binder you can flip through instead of a big long wall on your, a big long timeline on your wall. In fact, I read that there was a student who went off to college and called their mom and said, hey, can you send me my Book of Centuries? I need help remembering that timeline. So I'm like, yeah, we should totally do that. So the timelines are very important. The map work, my child happens to love maps already, so doing the map work is fun for him. And Emily Cook in BYL, she makes it interesting for them. It's not just go label this. It's this and this happened to which country, go label it. And then the second part might say, might refer to one of the countries and say color it red and color this green. So my child has never been into coloring per se, but he loves colors and stuff that's colorful. So here's an example of his map work that he did for some of his lessons, and it was just fun for him to be able to look at it. And he'll go look at his world map on the wall, and he'll look at his globe, and he'll ask Alexa questions. And this, I mean, this BYL is so comprehensive. It is a literature-based program, so if you have a child who does not like to read, you might want to look into something else. My child happens to love to read, and so this works well for us, very well. She incorporates history and art and science, and let me see, of course, the copywriting. Now, you'll need to supplement your own grammar. For example, we use the first language lessons with Susan Wise Bauer. And you will want to supplement math. There's no math in here. It might be part of a small history activity, but there's not an active math section. You can see here, there is history, literature, of course, a reader, of course, because it's literature based, science, art, language arts, and poetry. And I've included math. You may have seen it in the bottom here. And first language lessons. That's what FLL is. And I've also included music and PE because my child loves music, so I'm going to encourage that. And physical education, they need to be physical. And in Missouri, we have to log how many hours our child did of core activities and non-core. And so if I can count things he needs anyway, like physical education, I mean, you have that in school. And so I have that on here. I also have on here other supplemental things, language and home ec, life skills types of things. But to sum it up, BYL is comprehensive. It's very good. If I homeschool again next year, I will probably stick with this, even though I do feel like it's a little light on the science part. I mean, the science books we use for BYL, very good. Very good. And my child loves them, which helps make them very good. It's great. However, and sometimes we supplement with BYL with the Usborne Science Encyclopedia. Also amazing. I know this because I used to sell their books. And do you know why I used to sell their books? Because they're amazing and I wanted the discount. Didn't make any money, but I did get discounts on the books and they're awesome. So when you supplement, if you get BYL and you supplement, you will need math, and you might want to add some extra science in there. That's really up to you. But math is the main thing. It covers all your other basics, and it is a steal. I'll have to look up. I'll put in the description how much I paid for the PDF, and because of course there was that price on top of getting it printed and bound. You don't have to get it printed and bound. That's something that in this digital world, I'm still a little bit traditional and I want this. So again, I highly recommend it. I'll leave a link to Emily Cook's Build Your Library site, or BYL as we like to say. Shorten it up a little bit, shorten it down. Leave a description there for you and the links, and if you have any questions or comments, let me know. Just drop a line there, and I would also love to know what you think about the curriculum you're using or what your school is using. Sometimes schools have amazing curriculum or an amazing, math book, and you're like, wow. And if you do, I want to know because I want to get my hands on it. We supplement with, this year we're using Saxon Math, which is highly recommended. I think that the assessment we took was a little off because we seem to be in the review mode from what he did last year. However, it's better than skipping something. We've also used other programs for math, but if you have a great math program, let me know, whether it's homeschool or in school. If it's something I can get my hands on, I might want to. And what do you use? Are you the eclectic homeschooler that just grabs a bunch of material and then makes your own lesson plan? Does your state require you to log things like Missouri does? I was in Michigan and I didn't have to log anything. I did keep records for my own sake, memorabilia, but mostly a lot of that, half and half. Half for memories and half to assure myself that my child was learning. And so very different laws per state, so make sure you look into that also. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's longer than usual, but when you're reviewing an entire curriculum, videos take a little longer. I hope you enjoyed this review. Make sure to give me a like and share this with your friends. It should be a shareable link. If not, let me know that too in the comments. Until next week, have a great one.